Deportivo La Coruna. Good afternoon from Rob Palmer and David Phillips, and welcome to our coverage from the Santiago Bernabeu. You almost have to squint to believe that Real Madrid are not currently in a Champions League placing. 2 points behind Villarreal, who beat them here last week by 1-0. Meanwhile, Deportivo La Coruna have dipped down into the relegation zone for the last couple of weeks. A win today, has to be said, against all odds, would take them out of the drop zone. Well, David Phillips, who has sharper ears than I, tells me that when Cristiano Ronaldo's name was read out in the stadium, what kind of reaction was it?
Well, there were lots of boos going around there, Rob, and a little bit surprising in some respect, but he's had that before when he's been at the Bernabeu, when things are not going particularly right. But as we're hearing through the media, etc., that he's not particularly happy at Real Madrid, and the possibility of leaving the Bernabeu. But there's always speculation about the big clubs, Benzema, Bale, Cristiano Ronaldo. But until it actually happens, he's going to stay here and fight for his place.
Well, it's all about facts at this moment in time. The fact is that Real Madrid haven't won back-to-back games in La Liga since October. The fact is they've lost the last 2 games here in La Liga, and the other fact is they haven't scored in 228 minutes at the Estadio Bernabeu as well. There are still the faithful raising the flags behind the goal, but an awful lot of people questioning this Real Madrid team at the moment. They're certainly out of the equation in La Liga. 19 points off Barcelona, who have, of course, to play this evening down in Andalusia against Real Betis. In fact, they're closer to Deportivo La Coruna when it comes to the points total than they are the leaders Barcelona. Well, there's nothing extraordinary in the team selection today from Zinedine Zidane. They're still without Ramos in defence, and Nacho is alongside Varane. It looks like it's a slightly more enterprising approach. He's made one change from last week, but that affects the formation. It's going to be a 4-3-3 with Kroos, Casemiro, Modric in midfield. The surprise inclusion is Borja Mayoral, the young striker who starts only his 2nd La Liga game of the season. A true centre-forward will be flanked by Ronaldo and Bale. The captain of a ship that is lilting at this moment in time is Marcelo. The referee today, Senor Fernandez Borbalan, who has one of the highest averages when it comes to carding players this season, the 2nd highest in La Liga. Well, Deportivo have problems. They've just signed their 10th goalkeeper in 5 years, but Ruben is number 13, but he's the number 1, if you get what I mean. Their 2 regular central defenders, the tallest central defensive pairing in La Liga, are both missing today, Sidney and Albentosa. So there's a debut for One in the centre-half. On the team sheet it says it's a 3-man midfield, but expect those 3 to be working as defenders. And their best chance of a goal is undoubtedly Andoni, who has scored in the last 3 matches. Well, it's normally a fixture that Real Madrid can rely upon. They've beaten Deportivo on their last 10 visits here to the Bernabeu. Real have won the last 9 home and away when these clubs have met. Well, in La Liga, it is the turn of the season. Real Madrid really are struggling. They need to win points, but more importantly, they need to win back the faith of their supporters. Most of the eggs now are in the Champions League basket. There's a big hole in the La Liga basket as they have been draining points, but that's the best way to win the fans back. Almost a goal in the opening seconds. A slightly dozy defending from Deportivo.
Well, it was. It came from Fabian Schär, the right centre-half, who's the more experienced of the 2. One is making his La Liga debut today, and it's going to have an awful battle up against the new BBC, which is Borja, Bale and Cristiano Ronaldo. But the surprising fact for me, Rob, when you look at these outfield sides playing in today's game, and it might surprise you, that Deportivo, with their outfield 10, have scored more goals than Real Madrid's outfield 10. 18-16, which at this stage of the season is very surprising.
I knew you were working out some bats before the game, but I thought it was your shopping bill.
I'll leave that to the good lady.
The money clears the ball. Now that's to Carvajal. Zidane out on the touchline. Maybe for the first time ever in his career facing detractors. The most celebrated of players, most accomplished of managers. Bear in mind, he's been in charge for 2 years. In fact, he started off against Deportivo La Coruna in January 2016 with a 5-0 win. And he's pretty much been back-to-back success since then. The damage was done in La Liga that season, went on to win the Champions League 2 years in a row. Won La Liga, Champions League twice, European Super Cup, World Club Championship. Throughout his campaign, his career here, he has been a winner. Who is Cristiano Ronaldo? The papers. Very rarely out of the headlines, but it's political, financial reasons rather than scoring goals at this moment in time. Carvajal gets past Luisinho. He's backed up by Gareth Bale. Bale whisks it to the far post where Ronaldo was lurking.
That's an easy collection there from Ruben. And he'd be delighted with that, especially with the goal that he conceded against Valencia last week. An absolute howler. We can see that when Deportivo are defending, they're just leaving Florian Andoni up front, putting 5 across the heart of that midfield. A rigid back 4. And Real Madrid have gone to a 4-3-3. So no Isco today. He's been dropped to the bench, which is a little bit of a surprise.
Signings for Real Madrid. A lot of editorials in the Spanish media suggesting that maybe they have to go back to the Galactico period. They haven't signed a world-renowned star certainly since Zidane took over as manager. He's dipped deep into the club's resources and brought through some exciting players. One of those is leading the line to that. You can see there Borja Mayoral, 20 years of age. Scored 5 goals this season. He's done well in the cup competitions. New man in charge there of Deportivo, Cristobal Parrayo. He's got Barcelona connections. Bale's cross, looking for Ronaldo, who climbs. It seems to be in the mood, Ronaldo.
All he does, and it's the second cross that's coming from Gareth Bale, this time with his right foot. And you'd expect Cristiano Ronaldo at the far post up against Juan Fran to have the beating, which is exactly what happened, but unfortunately not able to direct his header into a goalward situation. But it's a good start for the home side, exactly what they want, and obviously to try and get the crowd off their back as well.
If you consider most of the work was done in the first part of last season for Real Madrid, they laid the foundations. Bear in mind then that they haven't had the BBC together, the original BBC. I know you've invented a new one. But Bale, Benzema and Ronaldo, Cristiano Ronaldo, haven't started a game together now in 44 matches. Mosquera gets past Casemiro, fires in the cross, Varane sticks out a knee. There is Kroos. I think what was most disappointing for the socios of Real Madrid last week was the lack of energy. They were looking stale. There is a renewed sharpness about their approach this afternoon.
But you say that, Rob, and goals do change games, and Aseno had a fantastic game last week for Villarreal.
There's Luka Modric, fires across the face of goal, and Ruben a little uncertain. Good early shot from Mayoral.
Well, it's well played by Luka Modric, getting himself towards the byline. Doesn't even have to have a look, just pulls that ball back. And it's a decent strike from Mayoral on the volley, hits it into the ground, and it's a comfortable save, good height there for Ruben.
Well, they've had more shots than any other team in La Liga this season, Real Madrid. And they're waiting with 2 early opportunities. Zamiro bullying Mosquera in midfield.
Well, there you see Luka Modric doing really well, getting in behind the back unit of Deportivo. It's an instinctive strike from Mayoral. Hits the target, and that's all that's been asked of him at this moment in time.
There is Ronaldo. There goes the fullback. Mayoral's at the near post. Bale is waiting at the far. It's just over the head of Gareth Bale. Promising, if not punchy.
Well, that's the third cross that's come in. 2 have been slightly overhit, but good movement from Cristiano Ronaldo up against Fabian Schär. Does really well, has a quick look up. And there's Gareth Bale towards the far post, just slightly overhit there from Ronaldo.
Gareth Bale has hardly been a lucky charm for Real Madrid this season. He's only won 1 of his last 7 La Liga games that he's been involved in. This is Andoni. That support fires it across the face. Vasquez sticks out a boot. Modric to Bale.
Yeah, just having a look. There's a worrying moment there for Marcelo. Rob, he's on the ground at the moment inside the 18-yard box.
Tony Kroos to Cristiano Ronaldo. Easy for Ruben to take. He's back on his feet, Marcelo, but he's moving too freely. We found ourselves saying last week in commentary, for the first time ever, that Cristiano Ronaldo was lacking confidence. Cristiano Ronaldo lacking confidence, never a phrase that we thought we'd be using. Marcelo. Nacho. To Varane. Carvajal. Gareth Bale. It seems to be an interchangeable formation for Real Madrid, with Bale on the right wing, Ronaldo on the left wing, and Modric almost acting as a secondary striker. It's a classic number 10 role for the number 10.
So there's nothing wrong with that little bit of rotation over on that far side. Just have to remember that when they do lose possession, Modric has got to get himself back in very quickly.
Marcelo to Bale. Carvajal causes distraction. Bale comes inside to Modric. Marcelo. Ruben again. It's all been a little formulaic so far. Ball, cross, Ruben intercepting.
But the good thing that Zidane will be happy about is that when that ball is played diagonally from Luka Modric into Marcelo, 3 white shirts attacking the ball in the correct areas as well. 1 near, 1 in the middle, 1 far. But the unfortunate thing was for Marcelo, who's just stretching a little bit. There's Florian Andoni who just clipped Marcelo there. Let's have a little look. Not sure there was an awful lot involved in that one.
It was a very strange incident. There's Mayoral to Gareth Bale. Nacho. Marcelo. Ronaldo. There's a distinct change of shape to Real Madrid today. Carvajal teases the ball in. Mayoral can't get that. This is Borges. There's to Borges. Andoni. Luisinho. Carvajal committed to attacking Real Madrid, which may leave them a little exposed at the back. We have 3 strikers who have been around. Lucas Perez on loan from Arsenal, of course. Andoni, who scored in the last 3 games. Adrian Lopez, who was part of the double-winning Atletico team. Bale. Bale continues the run on the blind side, but Luisinho caught him out the corner of his eye.
Oh, he defended that one really well, Luisinho, but you can see with Deportivo, and you mentioned Lucas Perez and also Adrian Lopez, 2 main strikers, one playing as a right-sided player, the other as a left in a midfield of 5, something that they're not particularly used to. I don't think they'll be particularly happy playing in those positions, but asked to do a job, and when it comes to counter-attack, then to try and hit them as quickly as possible. But Andoni is the main front man today.
Carvajal to Gareth Bale. Rudely blocked by Luisinho. I'm afraid just checking on the welfare of the Welshman.
Yeah, I'm sure that Bale will be okay, but it's always a difficult one as a full-back when you're playing against somebody as skillful and as quick as Gareth Bale. You get yourself nice and tight, you drop off, and that time Luisinho got himself tight and then just upended the Welshman, as you're right to say, Rob.
Tony Kroos seeking, I think, Nacho at the far post. Here he is. Nacho cleverly through the legs of the Depor defender. Didn't appreciate that.
Oh, that's the time with Celso Borges, who's generally a central midfielder. Gets himself very square, allows that ball to be played through the legs. Not sure that Nacho would have had the pace to get around it, but that's poor defending. Allows Nacho to try and get around the outside, and once again it's a foul that has to be given away.
Kroos to deliver. He's assisted in a dozen goals last season. He's only been behind 2 of the Real Madrid goals in the first half of the La Liga campaign. There's the World Player of the Year, who's been marked by a La Liga debutant this afternoon. Just enough of a touch from Schär, the Swiss international. It's interesting that from the set pieces, Alderweireld, 22 years of age, is taking care of Cristiano Ronaldo, the current World Player of the Year.
Yeah, you'd have thought that Fabian Schär, who's the experienced one in the back unit, would be looking to pick up Ronaldo, who's more of a threat.
Modric, Schär's head up, Kroos to Marcelo, Casemiro. Ronaldo is slow coming out. A little confusion rather. Mayoral was offside and not the flag eventually waved.
Yeah, quite easily. You can see 3 Real Madrid players in an offside position. It's Mayoral who tries to get himself into an onside area.
That was the cutting run from Gareth Bale. To those orchestrated Real Madrid supporters behind the goal of Keylor Navas. You don't get in that part of the stadium unless you're wearing the regulatory white shirt. Sing from the same song sheet. Mosquera. Andoni. No way past Varane. Casemiro. Modric. Somehow kept it in play, even he, I think, believed that he hadn't crossed the line. Varane. Ronaldo. Marcelo to Varane. Mayoral is playing with confidence until that Benzema is fit again. Squeaks it down, claiming he's only 80% fit and he wouldn't unleash him until he was fully firing. I'm sure we'll see him at some point today. chance. Neat cut inside, and comfortable save of sorts for Keylor Navas.
Well, he does really well there, Adrian Lopez, but he's looking for support from one of his midfielders, and just thought there was a lack of belief there from Pedro Mosquera. Should really have took on the effort a lot better than that. But they'll be quite happy with the opening 16 minutes, Deportivo. Just allowed a few little crosses to come in from either side, which has been very comfortable for Ruben, and also crosses that have been overhit.
You see now they're keeping things tight. They're in a bad run of form themselves at the moment, Deport. They've lost 6 of their last 9 matches. Slips at a vital moment. Leaves Casemiro under pressure here. Zidane was asked in for offside there. Andoni continues, and that is the value of having Casemiro in the team. There are many Real Madrid supporters that would sacrifice Casemiro for Isco if they were selecting their 11, but the manager knows the value of having somebody who'll stay at home. Here is Ronaldo on the front foot, but quite easily taken off the Real Madrid striker.
Yeah, absolutely right. In respect to Casemiro, first and foremost, Rafael Varane just had a little slip there. Pedro Mosquera plays in Andoni, who's in an onside position from his own half. Isolated 1v1 against a defensive midfielder. And what he does, he gets himself far too tight with his touch. And there's Casemiro just prodding out his left leg, and it's an excellent challenge. And you're right in what you're saying, he's invaluable in those areas. And Rafael Varane, he'll just be patting him on his back and saying a big thank you to him.
Such an important interception from Casemiro. Maybe the unsung player in this Real Madrid team at the moment.
You know, and the other thing, Rob, is that even though Casemiro does that great holding role, he's still scored 3 times so far this year, and it's only 1 behind the top goal scorers, which are Bale, Ronaldo, Asensio. And who'd have thought this time in this season Ronaldo's only on 4 La Liga goals?
He's struggling after this weekend to be in the top 50 scorers in La Liga. Great ball over the top. Carvajal isn't going to get there. Gareth Bale is level with him on 4 goals this season. We know how little we've seen of Gareth Bale. Ruben. That shows header. Now Adewale. Offside again. Keeps his feet, feeds Gareth Bale. Modric seeking and eventually finding, well, not quite finding Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah, it was the wrong option. I know that Cristiano Ronaldo is there applauding Modric, but it was the wrong choice. Bale on this near side was by far the better option. Luisinho caught out of position, and that's poor from the Croat.
In the Premier League, they get a little obsessed with signings and speculation. Zidane tried to draw a line under it yesterday by saying that there will be no incomings at the Bernabeu. Andoni taking a heavy landing. He's a striker who was linked with a couple of Premier League clubs in the summer.
You know, and he's a player, Romanian international, scored a dozen times last year. Had a decent spell when he's at Cordoba. You just wonder whether or not he could play in a, not being disrespectful to Deportivo, but a better side would score more goals.
Marcelo, Ruben again, customary catch. And alongside him is Lucas Perez, who had a sensational last season at Depor, heading to Arsenal for 70 million euros, but he's lucky in front of goal. Wasn't exported to the Premier League. He's got 7 goals for Arsenal last year, but they've lent him back to Depor this year. Here's Lucas. Oh, Carvajal was maybe a little bit lucky then to win the free kick.
Well, I thought he defended that one really well. Carvajal anticipated where the movement of Lucas Perez was. Not sure there was awful lot in that one, Rob, when you dissected it at that slow pace.
Gilhan, Luisinho, Mosquera, Varane. Senior defender at the moment. Sergio Ramos has now missed half a dozen games. I mean, Benzema maybe out of the shadows later on. Alongside him is Kovacic, who's part of the side that played in the Copa del Rey. There's Lucas across the face of goal. Oh, troubled times. They're getting worse for Real Madrid. Adrian Lopez looks up to the heavens. Real Madrid are suffering hell.
Well, there's been a couple of occasions where Pedro Mosquera has grabbed hold of the ball and played it into that left-hand channel. And Lucas Perez does so well. Gets in behind. Have a little look a second. There's the little flick header from Andoni into Lucas Perez. And all he's got to do is shove it across inside that 6-yard box. And Adrian Lopez, he's got the simplest of tap-ins at the far post, despite the sliding challenge from Marcelo. And it's the first opportunity that the away side have had, and they've taken it.
Well, a walking goal for Adrian Lopez as Real Madrid's defence went to sleep. These are troubled and testing times for the supporters of the Spanish and European champions, and world champions as well.
Now it'll be interesting to see what happens in the Bernabeu, Rob. Now they've gone a goal behind. Are they going to try and get behind the side? Or all the white hanky's going to start coming out?
Well, it's a stunned silence at the moment as the fans inside the Bernabeu assess what is an incredible situation. Bear in mind that Deportivo only scored first in 3 games this season. We're a team currently sitting in the bottom 3. It's a club that hasn't, well, taken a point in 10 matches against Real Madrid. Jabs from Real in the quarter of this game, but one heavy punch from Deportivo.
You know, in those games that you're talking about, here we see that little flick header from Andoni. Lucas Perez gets in behind Rafael Varane, and he puts it on a plate for Adrian Lopez at the far post. Can Marcelo do a little bit better? Doesn't really see where the movement of Adrian Lopez is. Could have been a foul there from Andoni, but the referee plays on.
Well, it's collective responsibility when you think about it, wasn't it? It was Carvajal who's complaining at the referee, who was nudged out of the way. Point he's making vociferously. Marcelo's crossover. Mayoral. Well, Varane lost his man, and as you say, Marcelo didn't pick up the free man.
It looked to me that he was not sure that ball was going to come in, and he didn't get himself in a position to go and clear it. Had a look at the movement of Adrian Lopez. And that's an excellent goal, you have to say, from Deportivo.
Gareth Bale. Italy cross. There's a shout from Marcelo. A fine technique. Maybe needed the touch from Ronaldo.
Well, again, it's a deep cross from Gareth Bale with his right foot towards the far post. Marcelo's unmarked. Gives an early shout to, is it Nacho? And then eventually, it's a decent strike, as you're right to say, from practice Mayoral, sorry. It's a decent strike, but it doesn't hit the target.
I'll mention this now. Real Madrid have not lost 3 successive home games since 2004. 14 years. Renewed confidence in the step of Deportivo. One of the great upsets in Spanish football was back in the 100th Spanish Cup final back in 2002. They actually changed the timing of the final to coincide with a Real Madrid celebration as well. Depor came here with the ultimate party poopers and won the cup on Real Madrid's home soil by 2-1. This is Marcelo, makes ground. Ronaldo! Oh, what a remarkable save that was. Mayoral can't finish it off, but all credit to Ruben for his acrobatic stop. Taken quickly. Toni Kroos. They're reapplying the pressure. Real Madrid, Casemiro is there, pushing his own players out of the way to get ahead of the ball.
Well, Ruben, as I mentioned before, had an absolute howler against Valencia. But this time it's a decent ball from Marcelo, again to the far post. Luisinho could have done a little bit better, but textbook header from Ronaldo back across the goal. But Ruben, nice and sharp, good feet, is able to parry it away. And then Fabian Schär does really well to just put Mayoral off.
They're staging a fight back, Real Madrid. It's something that we cited very early in the game, the fact that they're throwing players forward, taking risks at the back. Casemiro got them out of one tackle early in the game.
But in respect of Real Madrid, all the threats so far have come from wide areas, from crossing positions. Not one of them has come through the heart of the two centre-halves. And at this moment in time, I'm looking at Aldo Onek, the one making his La Liga debut, and seems to be very unfazed. He's performed really well with Fabian Schär in the heart of that Deportivo central defensive area.
Real Madrid have already dropped more points at home this season than they did the whole of last term. Modric. A shake off Aldoani. Kroos. Casemiro. Now Carvajal. Bale. Modric. Fires in the cross. Ruben gets in the way. Casually cleared by Guilherme. Varane. Bale. Marcelo's header. Second step for Marcelo. Gets past Juanfran. Oh, Ruben. He's having glorious luck.
What it is, a diagonal ball into Marcelo. Tries to win that first header. Here you see that ball come back to him. And then goes down the outside of Juanfran, hits it nice and hard, and there you can see, and it has to be a very strong wrist from Ruben down his right-hand side. Gets very lucky, cannons off the post, and back into his grateful arms.
Toni Kroos. Ronaldo winding himself up, finds the space, but finds an obstacle placed in his way. Lucas fighting in for the ball as Casemiro. Kroos. Gareth Bale. run by Carvajal and he's onside. Who does he select? He was looking for Mayoral. Varane breaks defensive ranks once more. Marcelo hits and hopes against the corner.
Yeah, there's lots of times when you see the Real Madrid players, and it's happened mostly on this near side. You see the corner being taken.
Close to Nacho. They're taking everything quickly. This is Marcelo. Desperate time to Real Madrid. They're back in it. An unlikely source, but a much-needed source. Nacho. Well, that has lifted the atmosphere.
Well, again, with Real Madrid, they're taking the corner very quickly, not allowing Deportivo to get themselves sorted out in defensive areas. And you never thought that Nacho would be the first on the score sheet for Real Madrid. But Marcelo does really well, has a quick look up, sees that Nacho is unmarked. Not sure about the marking here of Luisinho. Have a look at the number 16 Deportivo player, allows Nacho to run in as a free man. And then it's a nice hard side footer towards the far post area. This time, Ruben, no chance.
Well, seeking a quick second goal here, Real Madrid. Well, those who come every week have had a barren time. Real haven't scored in just over 4 hours at the Bernabeu. Toni Kroos. Modric. Gareth Bale. Well, it has to be said there's a great deal more willing this week.
Well, there is, and when you're looking at Deportivo, yes, they've been very fortunate at times to see the goal coming in from Nacho. I do blame the left-back Luisinho there, because he was originally picking up the Real Madrid centre-half. But if Deportivo are going to go back towards their own goal time and time again, it's just going to invite more and more pressure.
Doesn't get to celebrate goals too often, Nacho. It's only his 5th for Real Madrid. Though he did score, of course, against Sevilla. First week of December, which is the last game Real Madrid scored home goals in. Mayoral to Bale. Fine tackle by Luisinho. Modric chasing back. Varane. Nacho to Casemiro. Marcelo. Madrid get placed maybe a little bit too early into the penalty area. There's Modric. Carvajal teases the ball in. It's Modric with a brave hand.
Yeah, once again, the difference that you see now with Real Madrid, Rob, is that the tempo is being played a lot higher, getting themselves into great advanced positions. A lot of players getting inside the 18-yard box. This time it's a header from Luka Modric, comfortably saved by Ruben.
Kroos. Marcelo. Stretch for Carvajal. Varane. Kroos. Marcelo to Ronaldo. Fine footwork from Ronaldo. Toni Kroos' cross. Bale knocks it back in. Emergency defending, but it's enough as Mayoral makes himself known.
Well, there you see the quick feet of Cristiano Ronaldo. The ball there going diagonally to Gareth Bale. Once again, well defended by Fabian Schär. But they're getting cut open so easily, Deportivo, at this moment in time. Even though they've got a back 4-5 across that midfield area, at times you'll see that Adrian Lopez, Lucas Perez are even creating 6 at the back.
I was going to say Zidane's down there kicking every ball, but when you're talking about Zidane, he caresses every football. bit of a history against Depor in his playing days. He's been sent off against Deportivo more than any other team. A couple of red cards for Real Madrid against today's opponents. Bale bullied off the ball by Alderweireld. Marcelo. Now they can't get there. Xavi, senior defender. Alban Toes and Sidney both unavailable today. Gilhan to Juan Fran. Perez. Sees the gap and goes for it. Andoni stops. Rodri can't clear it though. It's required again for Casemiro to make a timely tackle. Ooh, that was nasty. That was unpleasant. That's going to be punished.
It's a little bit of a desperate lunge, isn't it, from Andoni on Casemiro. I think he's just trying to talk himself out of a possible red card there. He could be quite happy with the yellow from the angle that we saw at. But there's another opportunity there for Lucas Perez to go and pull the trigger.
He will say that he got a slice of the ball. The problem is that there's a bit of afters as well.
Well, that's the problem in modern day football.
He caught the standing foot of Casemiro.
Yeah, you can see that he catches the shin area of Casemiro, despite the protestations from Andoni. It is a yellow card. It wouldn't have been a red card.
Bale, lovely touch from Bale into the path of Carvajal. Alderweireld hits it into the stands. Modric. Carvajal. Bale. Carvajal. Modric aware. Finds Casemiro. Gareth Bale. Can't find the freedom in there, Gareth Bale here. He's looking an awful lot thinner. You know what? One feature I've noticed today, David, and it did assist in the goal as well, is the speed. The ball boys are returning the ball into play, ball to the throw-up, especially when it's Real Madrid that are attacking.
Well, that's what I said about the tempo has increased from recent weeks, and that's Zidane has said to his unit, this is what we need to do if we're going to get a result here against Deportivo. And so far they're doing it, albeit that Depor took the lead. Certainly against the run of play. But it was an excellent response from Real Madrid. But it's always going to be very difficult breaking down a back four and a midfield five, not wanting to come out of their holes. And I think it'll only be a matter of time for Real Madrid before they get the second.
Marcelo clears the ball. Nice shot. Gilhan to Mosquera. He's a Real Madrid B player. Never made one appearance in the first team. Mosquera caught out by Cristiano Ronaldo. This is Casemiro to Gareth Bale. Ronaldo continues the run. Didn't quite have the turbocharge to get on the end of the half an opportunity he'd created himself, Ronaldo.
Well, I thought Guilherme did really well. He read that ball from Gareth Bale far too easily. That's what you want out of your deep line central midfielder.
Marcelo. it out of his feet, couldn't get the shot on goal. Mosquera. Nacho seizes upon the opportunity. Ronaldo and Bale are waiting for the cross. Gives it to Marcelo. Marcelo hands it in the air. Ronaldo goes down and slightest of touches. That's a brilliant goal for Bale. Ronaldo caused the distraction. Bale, sensational.
Well, that is vintage Gareth Bale. Ronaldo wanted a penalty, thought he'd been upended by Luisinho at the far post. But it all stemmed from Nacho retrieving that ball halfway into the Deportivo half. And there's a nice little run from Marcelo. Little clip towards the far post. It's not a penalty as far as I'm concerned, despite the protestations of Ronaldo. But what a goal that is from Gareth Bale. On his favoured side, shifts that ball to the left-hand side, and Ruben, no chance whatsoever.
And the current interpretation of the laws, of course, fine goal. But I'll tell you what, the goalkeepers' union would suggest that Cristiano Ronaldo, by being in the 6-yard box in an offside position, raising his arm and waving it in front of the keeper, may have been causing a distraction.
Well, that's something that to look at as well, and generally if that is the case where the shot is in line of an attacker and the goalkeeper in the way, then it should be disallowed.
Bale to Coruna. And the current interpretation is always going to be a goal. Relief for Zinedine Zidane, and what a big time to score as well, just a couple of minutes before the break.
And even so, I don't think the half-time team talk would have changed from Zinedine Zidane anyway. He'd just say, just keep going, keep believing, keep that tempo going up, get the bodies in the box, keep the crosses coming in, and the quality of the goals will start pouring in, I'm sure. But that is a great goal from Gareth Bale, now the leading goal scorer.
5 goals in La Liga. And now the ball boys are on a go slow. It's just rolled back to Casemiro's. Real Madrid draw breath to the agony of Deportivo La Coruna, who had the lead in this game for around 9 minutes. So that man there on the ball, Nacho, came up with a timely equaliser. Cross. Marcelo. Casemiro leaves it to Modric. Modric to Carvajal. Best he could do in the situation. Paul clear that lines. Lucas. No way around. Nacho. Here Casemiro the two eye-catching players in this first half for Real Madrid. They've needed the foot soldiers.
Well, they do, and it's the players on the periphery who make up the side. You look at the stars of Bale and Ronaldo, but you need the other players to go and perform. And so far, Nacho has done really well. Not only scoring the first goal for Real Madrid, but also setting up the second one by that great interception, playing in Marcelo.
Perez to Juanfran. Blocked by the skipper Marcelo. The referee adds nothing to the first half. It's been a very competitive first half. Gareth Bale and Nacho on the score sheet for Real Madrid.